Hey everybody, welcome back to Barbecue by Biggs. I'm Aaron, and today we're gonna unbox, take a look at, and test the VEVOR chamber vac. If you wanna see how this thing works and if it fits into your barbecue lifestyle, come along with us. Stay tuned. So this is one big box. And I tell you, they did a pretty good job of boxing this up. There are some gashes in the top here. I don't know if maybe a forklift from the shipping company hit it or whatever. We'll see what happens when we get this thing open. So we'll grab a knife and get this thing opened up. So I guess those gashes were just superficial, but on the bottom of this, they do have an elevated piece of cardboard in here to protect it. And all of this. So I've gotten a couple of things from VEVOR, and they do a great job of making sure that it is packed very well. So if you look, it's protected. So we'll get this out of the box and get her set up. If you look around, the whole inside of this cardboard box is that expanded cardboard cushioning. This thing is not getting damaged. So we have it unboxed. Now, the first thing I can say is a lot of the things that we get from VEVOR, the stainless steel has a cover on it that you have to peel off. And I have to give it to them. They must be listening to us because there is none of that stuff on this machine, which is absolutely amazing. Because a lot of the brisket warmers and some of the other things that we've done and we've used, it takes 15 to 20, 30, sometimes 45 minutes just to peel off that protective coating on the stainless steel. This machine has none of that. So I'll bring you in close and let you look at some of the features. So first thing, it's got a big old gauge that shows you the vacuum. It also has digital gauges to go up on the vacuum time, the sealing time, and the cooling time. The other thing, I don't know if you can see it, how thick that acrylic lid is. I tell you what, that can stand up to some abuse for sure. This is an oiled system, so we're gonna get the oil out, get the instructions out, make sure that we have plenty of oil in this, get it plugged in, and start testing. So one thing I wanted to point out is inside the chamber, you have a replacement seal for the top. You have 2 of the Teflon sealing tapes, just in case those wear out. They give you extra. You have vacuum pump oil, the little insertion point, and they include some bags, plus the power cord, of course. But they actually have some spare parts if you need them, which I thought was pretty cool. All right, to make sure that we have proper oil, we just have to take off this back panel. Four Phillips head screws to do that. Since this is a oiled machine, there is maintenance that you'll have to do with it. Checking the oil, changing the oil. They include the oil with it, so if you do run out of that, you can use regular old vacuum pump oil, is fine. All right, got those 4 screws out. We'll just take that off. So right back under here, you have the oil window. That oil window needs to be about halfway. It's a little low right now, so we're gonna go ahead and add some. To add some to this machine, there's a little black filter on the top up here. We're gonna unscrew that, and then we'll fill the oil out of the hole there until it gets to halfway, and then we'll screw that back at the top. We'll do that now. You look right here on the top, there is a hole. Hopefully you can see it past that wire. There is a hole here, and then we're just gonna add it until this window is halfway. So we used anywhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of that bottle of oil. So we're right at 1/2 to 3/4 full on the sight glass. So we'll get this sealed up, get it plugged in, and start testing. So we'll get this panel put back on real quick. When you go to put it back together, lean it forward and slide it right underneath that, right there. And we'll get those screws put in. All right, got it sewed up, ready to plug it in, give it a test. So the machine we're looking at today is a DZ260C. And for those of you that don't know much about chamber vacs, a regular vacuum sealer pulls all the air out of the bag and then seals it. This one changes the air pressure inside of the chamber, which allows you to do a whole lot more with it than you would with a regular vacuum seal bag. And in our testing today, we'll kind of show you how many times have you had your regular vacuum seal, you try to vacuum seal fish, or you try to vacuum seal chicken, and the first thing it wants to do is pull that moisture out of the bag as it's pulling the air. This machine does not do that. And you know what? We're gonna plug it in and we're gonna prove it to you. So the plug-in goes right here on the side, and then your on-off switch right there. All right, so we have it turned on. Nice big vacuum meter here. The one things that you'll notice is that you have a vacuum time, a sealing time, and a cooling time. The vacuum time, that's how much vacuum you need in here. Anywhere between 30 to 35 is ideal. If you find that it's not vacuuming as much as you want, you can go up or down. Same thing with sealing times. The sealing times, we're gonna start out with a 2.0. 2.0 is kind of the mid-range, and then we'll look at the bag and make sure it's sealing like it's supposed to. This is gonna be all dependent on your bag and how thick your bag is. If you have a thinner bag and you find that it's kind of scorching the bag a little bit, you'll decrease it. If you have some of the thicker bags and it's not sealing quite as well, then you'll increase it. You don't want to go up too much, because I'll tell you what, if you go too long, it'll burn out that sealing band that they send you an extra one of. Cooling time, this is anywhere between 3 to 3.5. We'll set it at the longest. That allows that to cool down before it opens up. So we set this to 35, 2.0, 3.5. We're gonna use their bags that they have, and we're gonna go ahead and do some testing. So the first one that we're gonna do is we're just gonna take their bag. We're gonna take this Uncle Steve shake, competition bird shake, stick it in there, and we're gonna vacuum seal it. Not that you would do this at home. This is just to show you something with an odd shape and it's dry. We're gonna show you how it does. And just like that, even something that has a weird shape is all sealed up. So let's try something wet. All right, we got some pork chops. You can look at the bottom, has a lot of juice in there. We're just gonna take them, lay them flat here. Put the ends in, make sure it goes over that sealing bar in the back. Put it down. We're gonna set it on 38 on the vacuum time, 2.2 on the sealing time, 3.5 on the cooling time. And all we have to do is take this top, push it down. It starts. Once you start seeing the vacuum do it, you can ease off your hands and it'll do it yourself. I'll let you watch it. Vacuum time's over, sealing time's over. It's gonna cool down. Then there you go. Perfectly vacuum sealed. So now that we got those tests done, we're gonna take these same pork chops that we just sealed. We're gonna go ahead and open up this seal, and then we're gonna put some marinade on them. Then we're gonna put it in there and do the marinade function to show you how that works. All right, so we got us a new bag here. We're gonna go ahead and cut these pork chops up and go ahead and put them in this new bag again. My daughter bought me this little stand, and I tell you what, it makes it easy, especially when you're doing it one-handed. So we'll just drop the pork chops in. Then we'll just take that marinade and pour it right over the top of them. All right, this time we're gonna hit the marinade button. It's right here, this green one. We're gonna hit the marinade button. So the only thing difference is this thing's just gonna stay in a state of vacuum. We have them in a single layer. As you can see, there's some of it doesn't have marinade at the top, some of them that does. Then we're just gonna close it up. It's gonna start vacuuming. Then we can let it go. So you can see right now it's pulling all that stuff through the pork. Then it sucks it and lets it go. So you have a choice here. You can go ahead and you can pull that and it's been marinated fairly good, or you can seal it up from this point and cook it later. So we're gonna go ahead and seal it up because we're not gonna cook it until this afternoon. So we're gonna change it from marinate to regular. We'll go through that process again. So if you're short on time, you just take your pork chops, you throw them in here, you hit the marinate button, you stick it in there, and in about 35 seconds or so, it'll be done. You can also change that 35 seconds to a little bit longer if you want, but as you can tell, it does a great job and make sure that it gets through all that pork. So we're gonna get these sealed up, we're gonna get them put in our refrigerator, and then we'll come back and we'll cook them later this evening. Looks amazing. The best part about it, no mess. So our next test is gonna be just straight old water. We're just gonna lay the water down in the bottom, put this up to the top, flap that over so it'll seal, just like that. Pull it down, see what it does. There you go, one sealed bag of water. So one thing I wanted to point out to everybody is it looks like this is real shallow, and it is real shallow because it has a spacer in it. I used the spacer on these tests because I didn't have anything that was too awful big. So if you don't have any room, this spacer comes out, and it gives you a whole lot deeper area here to work with. You just have to remember that this sealing ring here is a little over 12 inches long, so you don't want a bag that is bigger than 12 inches wide. But these large bags that we have here work very, very, very well. With this bubble in the top of this acrylic, if you had like a whole chicken or something that need to be pressed down just a tad bit, you could probably seal that just fine. So just to give you an idea, the whole chamber here is about 13¼ wide, and from the sealing tab back, it's right at a foot. So, you know, a 13-inch bag or even a 14-inch bag folded a little bit would go in there. So remember, you only have about 12 inches on this sealer here. So you got to make sure that the bag is 12 inches wide or less. So after all that testing, what do we have? We have some seasoning in the bag that's still done good. You look, it went around every crack and crevice, still sealed tight. We have that water, of course the water. It's no leaks, it does real good. Not that you'd ever seal up seasoning or you'd seal up water, but heck, you never know. I don't know what you do in your life. And then we have the marinated pork chops. Those are gonna be delicious tonight. So just go through some of the features. Got the big on and off switch on the side over here. You have the big round dial in the front, the digital change of display. You have the marinating functions, this big thick acrylic glass top at the top. I tell you what, this thing is made very well. So the pros are, you can just about seal up anything in this thing as long as it'll fit, whether it be wet, whether it be dry. You know, we sealed up this seasoning right here. Well, think about keepsakes that you might have that you want to keep dry, or anything that you might want to have in a dry box in case of storms. We live in an area that has hurricanes, so maybe we'll take some documentation and go ahead and vacuum seal that. You can vacuum seal just about anything. There are some cons to this machine. One of the cons that I feel is that you have to add oil. Well, most of the higher end machines out there, you have to add oil to them. I have an oilless one, but it takes a little bit longer to do than this one did. This one seals and finishes a whole lot faster than my other machine. You could go through a lot more in a lot less time by using this one than you could my other one. Other pros, think about a regular vacuum sealer and you made some sausage. You take that sausage, you put it in the vacuum sealer and it just sucks it down and it flattens it. Well, these doesn't do it. You can just put your sausage into the freezer for about 15, 20 minutes to harden the outside, put them in this vacuum sealer, they're done. One of the things that I want to make sure that I point out to everybody is that you cannot put anything that's warm or hot into one of these chamber vacs. I've done it before. I took some soup that was just a little bit warm, put it in my chamber vac. Well, it heated it back up like immediately, and I had a mess on my hands because it started boiling inside of the bag. It has to be cooled off. So anything that you do in these chamber vacs need to be cooled off. You can't put anything warm into it. And one of the biggest cons of this machine is how big it is. This thing weighs 60 pounds. My other machine weighs about the same. It takes up about the same footprint as this one does. But I leave mine out on the counter in our pantry and we use it non-stop. So you just have to make sure that you have space to use this, because this is not something that you take off the shelf, put it on the counter, use for a few minutes and then put it back up. It's too heavy. So if you have a dedicated space for this, whether it be over in your pantry, maybe you have a shelf in your kitchen that you want to keep it on, by all means, go for it. If you don't have a lot of kitchen space, you need to think about where you're gonna put something of this size before you do it. Maybe it's out in your garage, maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know. It is big, it is heavy. It's not like a mixer where you can just pop it out on the counter and get it done. But the pros well outweigh the cons on these machines. And if you're looking for something that is reasonably priced and has performed very well for us today, then I would definitely take a look at this. So if you're in the market for one of these and you want to look at this particular unit, we'll leave links to this unit down in our description box below. And you know what? Hit that subscribe button because we want to see you on the next cook. See y'all next time.